It's time. It is time to break the sound barriers off of our lives. The Bible tells us that Satan is the prince of the power of the air. And as he and his angels are hovering over us, they are literally roaming the atmosphere, seeking pockets or breaches where they can disrupt our spiritual connection with heaven. What they're doing is they're seeking to tempt God's children with sin and disobedience, and ultimately causing us to veer off the path that leads to a prospering life. See, they want to mislead us and mislead us into selfish or vain pursuits, resulting in lack of rest and mental focus. Satan and his angels, what they're doing is they're amplifying reports of gloom and doom and barking of inevitable demise, driving us into anxiety and excessive movement, excessive talking and such. Some people just need to hush. More movies are based on perverted sexual encounters and zombie apocalypses and fantasized end-of-day scenarios than we can count. It's not surprising that we now see both children and adults suffering with attention deficit disorder. Now, our world is saturated with obstacles that compete for our attention. I like to call them sound barriers. We simply cannot hear God when we succumb to the cares and the chaos and the passions of this world. These are barriers to keep us from hearing the divine. We can't tap into divinity when we're constantly tuned into the chaos of this world. We can't walk and live in the spirit if we are not in the spirit. When these sound barriers drive us, we are then tossed by every idea, invention, and opportunity. We often fail to set boundaries around our calendars and allow other folk to impose their agendas upon us. Sometimes no is a whole sentence, and we just got to learn how to use it more often. But when we cannot hear the voice of the Lord, we struggle. We struggle with making decisions and find ourselves incapable of deciding between one thing or another. Fear can cloud our judgment and sense of purpose, but now stop and just think about it. If in this moment you realize that you've allowed your environment to become clouded with just too many sounds and voices, you can't hear yourself think. If you can admit that you are overwhelmed by busyness and activities that keep you from sitting still long enough to hear that still small voice within you, then that is your indicator that it's time to break the sound barriers off of your life. God will restore your hearing so that you can hear his voice again. But you've got to decide. You've got to choose who has your ear.